Okay, so one of the things that we're going to talk about is not just using InDesign, but actually utilizing resources that are already out there for you. So with the internet, there's tons of stuff out there that people are allowing you to use for free. A lot of people, especially students in education, will utilize things that isn't legal for them to use. They'll steal design ideas, they'll steal images from random places, Google or whatever. But there's tons of stuff out there already for you. So if we go to just go to Google, and we're just going to type in InDesign templates. And we'll get like a ton of sources. The issue is not all of them are free. Some of them are paid. So you might want to type in free InDesign templates. And you can choose one of a ton of different options. So let's say that I want this newspaper one. And there may have been better things to choose. There may have been better sites, but I just clicked on one. So this looks like it will work. So this looks fine to me. So we'll go ahead and save it. And since I'm using Firefox, when we download something, we get this little blue arrow. Go to Tools, Downloads. And you can see here that it has finished downloading. We'll use our little magnifying glass here to bring it up in Finder. We have a zip file. That's what you'll often see it downloaded as. If we double click on that zip file, it will unzip it for us. Mine normally puts it in the same folder that I unzipped it. For some reason this one went into Documents, but at least it showed me where it went. So here is the template that I downloaded. So I'll go ahead and double click on that, and it will open in InDesign. Now I think it's an older version of InDesign, because I don't think mine saves as INDT. I think mine saves as .ind. Well, actually, I bet that T is for templates. I don't make a whole lot of my own templates, but I bet that's what that's for. So wait for this to load up, and then we'll check it out. While it's doing that, actually, let's find some free images. Best free image sites. So I've already talked to you guys about using stuff like Flickr Creative Commons and Wikimedia Commons, but there's still tons of other places. Look at this, 16 best, 53 best places. So I mean, you can find stuff all over the place. So let's see what we have here. Looks like InDesign is ready, or almost ready, not quite ready. Oh, there InDesign goes, right when I was starting to look at this page. Yeah, so it talks about public domain. Stop InDesign. Let's see, what do we have here? So public domain, Creative Commons, etc., etc. So some of these have free sections, but still have paid areas, like Dreams Time. Some of them are entirely free, it just kind of varies. Let's look at free digital photos. Let's see if there's stuff on here that we can use. Simple enough. Let's go with, what do I want to make? Look at that. Nice little snail. Let's go with nature, because I like nature. And we'll go with plants or wild animals. Which one? We'll go with wild animals. Very exciting. We'll do one on reptiles. Look at that frog. So you can see here, lots of free images. Now most free image sites will have advertisements. And the reason why is you're not paying for the images, so they need some way to help pay for the site and to bring in revenue, and so thus advertisements. So they get you to come with the free images, but the actual product is sort of you, because the customer is the advertisers. That's who's paying. So you get the images for free at the expense of being distracted by advertisements, seeing different brands, possibly clicking on one if you see something interesting. So we've got this template here. So what I want to do is I don't want to just leave it the way it is. If everybody just used templates and left them the way they were, everything would start to look the same very, very quickly. So I'm going to move some stuff around. So I'm actually going to move this around, and I'm going to put it on the left side. I think that will look good. I'm going to go ahead and keep this top photo at the top because it's above the fold. On a newspaper, you design a lot of things based on above the fold. So where you would fold the paper in half, what are you going to see above it? I actually think I want this to go up here and this to go down here. Now the issue is I'm losing this above the fold content here. And so I think what I want to do, oh, stop that. I'm going to turn this into just like a long strip here. And I'm going to make this bigger too. There we go. Almost to the edge, like that. I'm going to make this story shorter, so that way you can see that other graphic, because pictures tend to sell things. Pictures tend to do a great job of selling things. So I want part of this picture to be noticeable at the bottom of my newspaper. I want people to be able to see it. Sort of like a little preview of what's there. Alright, so that's pretty good. And I want to make this white. And I want to make this, I'm going to go with like a bright red, because bright red is very eye-catching. Now it might be a little distracting from the actual content of the paper, but the front of the paper is supposed to sell the paper, so that's what I'm aiming at. And I think all the rest is fine, pretty much. Let's change this to maybe something a little bit more interesting of a font. And so essentially what you're doing when you're working with a template, when you're changing a template, is you're making it into your own. You're making it into something that fits your needs and doesn't look exactly the same way as the start. That is not what I thought that was going to look like. Maybe, do I like this? I sort of do like that. And I want it to be a little bit bolder, so I'm going to add a white outline to it. So now it's bolder. And let's get this to load in the middle. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm changing it, I'm customizing it, I'm making it work for what I need it to do. Real creative name, right? We'll go with that. News Now. Because that's what you want, and now is when you want it. Right? And actually, I kind of like this little box, and I think this little box would actually be great at the top. And actually, where is the fold line on this? So, this document is 17 inches. So, that would put it at 8.5 would be the fold line. Which actually means that this title down here isn't seen at all. I want to put this up here, and I was worried that that would push this down further below the fold, but I figured it was already too far down anyways, and it is. So the only thing that's attracting people there is that image, and I want them to have a little bit more to look at, a little bit more to catch their attention. So we'll put that there, and you can still see the picture, and you can still see the title, and I'm going to put this there. Let's move all this up just a little bit. Just try to make it sort of even with this line here. You want things to match up. You don't want everything to be all like out of alignment. If everything is all out of alignment, like it's going to be noticeable for your viewers and it's going to look tacky. So, and we can also pull guidelines down. So you can see that like this person has actually made a little bit of a grid. So I've pulled a guideline down. I don't like that grid actually, and I could get rid of it, but I'm just going to leave it for now just to not make this too long. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom out. Let's my guidelines still there? So now this is in alignment. And is the bottom of these two in alignment? It looks like it. Yes, they are, so that's good. So that's what I want. And I think that looks pretty good. So now all I would need to do is start going in and putting my pictures in there, although I guess news now doesn't really make sense anymore. Maybe it should be like reptiles now or frogs now or something. But start putting in my images and start putting in my content, and it will look quite different. I've already done quite a bit to move stuff around, to change this, and to do what I want it to do in a way that I think will work best. Of course, I haven't changed any of the other stuff yet either, and so I mean, you know, to finish, I would definitely be doing that as well. So that's sort of your goal. So find a template and build with it. Move stuff around, make it your own, make it work the way that you need it to. Now this is probably a little complicated. I wouldn't necessarily use a newspaper because you can see these little lines, like the little line there. Oops. Like the little line there. That line is going to another part of the newspaper because that's what newspapers do. They want to put a bunch on the front page so you see it, but then they link to other parts. They tell you to go visit another page because they want you to know what's in the paper to buy it, but then it's still going to end up somewhere else, which you can see those green lines showing me where it is. So you get the idea.